Some events have changed people's lives. Some have changed a country, and some have changed the world. Many of these events can be summarised by either a place name or a day. Complex moments in history get reduced to just one word or numbers. On the 11th of September 2001, one such event happened in New York. We know this as simply 9/11. Change number 1. A new iconic date has been added to the world's list of significant moments. The horror on that day, in September 2001, played on some of our most deep-seated fears. Hollywood often uses our fear of the safe, the normal, and the ordinary turning against us. Aeroplanes are normally associated with holidays and exciting visits abroad. No one expected them to turn into weapons of destruction. We welcome the Olympics in the UK this year, but in the back of everyone's mind is the ever-present possibility of an attack on a high-profile target. Change number 2. We are more afraid. We are more suspicious. One of the consequences of the 9/11 attacks is the war in Afghanistan. We're not in the position to cover that war, but we can look at some of the effects on our friends, whose father is currently serving his country in that conflict.
My name is Rebecca Rawlings, I'm 14 years old and I'm a student at Tesbon School. My dad is currently serving in Afghanistan. It makes me really sad that he's over there because I worry a lot, and that it makes me really upset because when you hear bombs going off over there you don't really know if it's your dad, and then they don't really tell you, and so it's really hard. My dad's currently been over in Afghanistan for 18 months. It's really hard, and when I first went over it really upset me and I cried for a while, but now I've kind of got used to it. It's changed my life because I don't see him as often as I do, and I stay with my mum a lot of the time and I don't see her for every weekend. It's hard not having the support from him and not being able to talk to him and seeing him 24/7, and you don't have the same bond as a father and daughter should. When my dad comes home, I obviously treasure the time that I have with him and I try to spend as much time with him as possible. But when he's not home for Christmas, it's really hard because it's hard not having your family around you, and then he missed 2 years of my birthday, which is really hard because him not celebrating the 2 years that I've grown up has been really difficult.
Change number 3. Many more families are worried about their loved ones. The people who carried out the 9/11 attacks were Muslims. They used their religious views to justify the taking of so many innocent lives. This has changed the way many non-Muslims view the Islamic community. We asked some people, how would you feel if a group of Muslims were on the same plane as you?
Well, I shouldn't really say this, but I suppose I'd feel a bit uneasy.
If it was just me, I'd be fine. If it was me and my children, I would pay close attention to the Muslims.
I have to say I'd feel a little bit unnerved.
It wouldn't bother me personally, but I do know people that would be quite worried.
And yet, many Muslims are totally opposed to the terrorist attacks of 9/11. They regard Islam as a religion of peace. Change 4. Many innocent, peaceful Muslims have become victims of 9/11. Nearly 3,000 people lost their lives on the day of 9/11. Their loss will never be forgotten. Since then, many more lives have been lost in related wars and attacks around the world. Can we ever see an end to the loss of innocent lives? History says we can. During the Second World War, Britain and the USA were at war with Germany and Japan. Today, we are allies. We trade with each other and have friendly relationships. We do not see our former enemies as threats anymore. Perhaps the greatest change is yet to come. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then, he becomes your partner.